good morning or good afternoon, whatever time you guys are watching this. My name is Adam Schnug, and I'm the principal of Catasauqua High School. Wanted to take a moment to welcome the class of 2024 to their freshman orientation. And this promises to be a somewhat crazy but also memorable school year for the students that are coming to Catasauqua High School. With COVID-19 and all the safety regulations in place, it's going to feel different than what it normally would feel for an incoming freshman class. But with that being said, the great opportunities that make us a fantastic high school are still available to students. And those are some of the things we're going to highlight in the upcoming orientation video that we've created for you guys. We're going to be going over some things such as what your schedules are going to look like, guidelines, rules and regulations because of COVID. And unfortunately, there is going to be a little bit of a homework assignment to look at the student handbook and take a look at the CHS Return to Learn webpage, which does have a lot of our COVID guidelines and safety things in there that students should be aware of before they come to school. So sit back and enjoy, and we are looking forward to seeing you guys on Monday. This part is the freshman orientation presentation for Catasauqua High School for the 2020-2021 school year. Just want to go over the overview before we get into the rules and guidelines and regulations for the upcoming school year. We want all of our students to know that you've been Rough Riders as you were in middle school, and now you're Rough Riders at the high school. And high school is an experience unlike any other. We'll share with you that we will provide the opportunity for you to get involved in activities. We will provide opportunity for you to play sports. We will provide you the opportunity to take courses that are geared towards a career in which you want to enter. But it is entirely up to you to take advantage of the opportunities that we have available. And though it's going to be a little bit of a tricky year with a pandemic going on, our high school is still set up to provide many options, and it is an exciting time to be at Catasauqua High School. We ask all of our students to get involved in at least one or two activities, whether it's sports or student organizations or anything. There's no reason not to get involved in the school day as we continue to talk. Another thing you need to realize as freshmen is that your academics now count. And it's not that they didn't count in elementary or middle school, but right now you are building a transcript for your post-secondary plans. So no matter where you want to go, if you want to go to college, if you want to end up in the military, if you want to end up working straight out of high school, no matter what pathway you choose, right now everything you're doing with regards to attendance, grades, discipline, that all gets put on a transcript. And employers, schools, and the military, they're going to want to see those transcripts to see what type of student you are or what type of employee you could possibly be. And it all starts right now with your freshman year. Last year we started a great program called our Advisory and Career Education Program, and that's tied into the Rough Rider period, which is listed below. During the Rough Rider period, you will meet several times throughout the year. On your schedule, it is listed as homeroom. You will only go to those this year on Wednesday that are designated as Rough Rider Wednesdays. And during that time, those 10 to 15 days that are designated that, you'll have the opportunity to work on your career portfolio, which is something you're going to build from your freshman year through your senior year of high school. Your freshman year, it is much more of a career exploration. So you're taking a look at what types of careers you want to take, what types of places offer you additional training in those careers, and you're also going to want to take a look at what types of classes you want to sign up for in the future to help you build a career in that area. The Rough Rider period is not just a period in which you go to advisory or your career education program. The Rough Rider period also allows you to get involved in student organizations during the school day so you don't have to come before or after school. This right here is a list of the many student organizations we have, and this is actually just a small sample of some of our most popular student and club organizations that go on throughout the school year. And as we said in the second slide of this presentation, we sincerely hope everybody chooses to get involved in at least one student organization. As with any orientation or beginning of the year assembly, we're going to want to go over the rules and guidelines, and as you can imagine, some of them have been updated because of everything going on with COVID and the pandemic. With regards to the start of the school year, it is okay to be anxious for the start of this school year. It's certainly going to be a tricky one to navigate with all the protocols and guidelines in for COVID-19. And with that being said, I want you to know that the entire staff is here for you. If you need help, if you have questions, the staff is here for you, and not just the staff. You're going to find a lot of our older classmen and our upperclassmen, in particular our juniors and seniors. We've got a real good set of leaders in our school this year. They'll be here to help you as well. It's a good, tight-knit community. We're sort of a family here at Catasauqua High School. We may not necessarily like each other all the time, but when push comes to shove, we certainly are here to support everybody. All right, student attendance. Student attendance is going to be taken every block, whether you're in person or if you are signed up for the virtual program. We'll be taking attendance every block. We want you present as much as possible, but we understand that with the COVID-19 guidelines, we simply don't want students coming if you have COVID symptoms. And for more guidelines on that, please check out the CHS Return to Learn webpage. It has some protocols in there you're going to want to take before coming to school that everybody needs to take a look at. And of course, due to COVID-19 for the 2021 school year, CHS will not sign off on students taking educational trips unless it is a college visit. Just to be completely honest, usually freshmen do not attend college visits, so that's not something that will really be signing off on this year for freshmen. If you are absent, just remember it is your responsibility to make up what you missed. And if you need to look at what the protocol is for absentees, that is still posted on the CHS webpage, and you can access that. As far as discipline goes, we do have to talk about this. We expect you to be respectful, and that's in many ways. We want you to respect yourself, respect your peers, respect the staff, and respect the building. The golden rule is treat others the way in which you want to be treated. For the 2020-2021 school year, there are many COVID safety guidelines in place for your safety and for the safety of others. We are asking that students follow these protocols. There will be some discipline if students are not able to follow the guidelines that are listed on the CHS Return to Learn page. And the big thing this year we've been getting a lot of questions about is face masks and face shields. The Pennsylvania Department of Education as well as the Pennsylvania Department of Health have mandated that face masks and face shields are to be worn when students are riding the bus and when they are in school. We will be providing a 10-minute mask break, hopefully once a period, if we could work it out nicely and fairly in our schedule to ensure social distancing, so that students can have a 10-minute break each period, and they won't have to wear their mask during that time and still maintain safety guidelines. Any student refusing to wear a mask without a medical condition, and that's a documented medical condition, if it happens more than once, we can switch you to online classes if the problem occurs, and we certainly don't want that to happen. We want everybody wearing a mask so that everybody is safe when they're entering our school building. This year there will be no after-school detentions. That's something we would normally do. We don't want too many students hanging around after school unless you are there for a specific reason this year. So therefore we'll be implementing what we're calling block detentions, in which students will serve their detentions during the school day. These block detentions will rotate between Tuesdays and Thursdays, and hopefully nobody has any, so we won't have to worry about that. Other possible discipline is the in-school academic program. It's also known as ISAP. This is basically a traditional in-school suspension, but it allows for more additional interaction with a teacher, and it does have some restorative practices. A bad example that unfortunately happens is vaping is becoming very popular in high schools across America. If a student is caught vaping, they'll serve 3 days of the ISAP program their first time. On top of having to do all of their schoolwork, they will also have to complete projects on vaping so that they gain a further education of what vaping can do to them long term, and they'll have to provide evidence that they have read about it and done extra assignments on it. Saturday detentions are also still a possible consequence for policy violations. As far as the policies go, I'll tell you before getting into the specifics, you're going to want to check these out in the student handbook. Some of them we put the pages next to. So the basic dress code guidelines are on pages 37 and 38 of the student handbook. That can be found on the Catasauqua High School webpage. Shorts must be to the top of the knee, no tight-fitting clothing, um, unless worn under shorts, dresses, or at the appropriate length. So you can wear something that's a little tight-fitting as long as something underneath it is covering everything. No exposed midriffs, no hats in the building. Unhooded sweatshirts must remain off of the head, especially during class transitions. It blocks the cameras and we can't see who you are if there is an incident, and that will not be tolerated. Cell phone policy, we have a very strict cell phone policy at Catasauqua High School. I highly recommend everybody takes a look at it. We do confiscate cell phones and we do require a parent come pick them up. And every time it happens, it does lead to a further consequence. So you can have your cell phones with you. You can have them on your person. You just need to have them turned off and put away. Earbuds and headphones are not to be worn during class transitions. Those will be treated just like cell phones. This has not been a big issue at Catasauqua High School recently, and we'd like to keep it that way. It's become popular at other high schools across the United States, but it has not been big here at Catasauqua, and like I said, we really want to keep it that way. We prohibit unauthorized videotaping or recording of any kind. Any person found in violation of this will receive the most severe consequences. The same rules apply for your school-issued iPads. You will not be allowed to do unauthorized recording with the school-issued iPads. And then it goes along with also taking pictures with your cell phone and things like that. We want everybody to have a reasonable right to privacy when they are in school, and we don't want students recording other students without their knowledge. It's just not right. As far as cafeteria expectations go, this is going to be a different year for the cafeteria because of everything happening with COVID and the many safety guidelines that are in place for when students eat. Make sure you're following directions and procedures. We will have staff members in there to help you out. When you get to the cafeteria, you need to get there immediately. Don't take your time in the hallways. Please get down to the cafeteria immediately, and you'll enter the cafeteria through the auditorium side. We actually have red dots in the hallways posted so students can stand 6 feet apart while they're in line. There will be staff members there to direct you there on the first couple days of school, so you won't go in the wrong door or anything like that. We'll send you to the right place. We're happy to help, and we understand it's the first week of school and you may have you have a lot on your mind already and you may forget where the entrance is, but we'll be there to remind you, and it's not a problem. You'll go in, you'll grab your lunch, and then you're going to find a seat. The tables are very different this year to ensure social distancing. Only 2 students can sit at a table. When you do choose your seat on the first day, it will be yours for the remainder of the quarter. So we do have to have assigned seating in the cafeteria. This is to help us with contact tracing should somebody test positive for COVID-19. No food or drink is allowed to leave the cafeteria, and masks can be removed during the lunch period once you have your food and are seated. Something that is important in high school is the issue of bullying. It is real, it does exist, and it is simply not tolerated at Catasauqua High School. So bullying in any form, whether it's social, physical, or cyber, will not be tolerated. Students who witness bullying should contact a teacher or staff member immediately about what and tell us what is happening. I want to make sure everybody understands there is a difference between being bullied and being made fun of. Bullying is intentional, it is something that is repeated, and it is something that creates a power imbalance for the victim. Making fun of somebody can be an isolated incident. I'd like to stress that making fun of somebody can still get you in trouble even if it's not bullying. But bullying is something we work very hard to fix as fast as possible, and we simply don't want anybody doing that in our school. That's it for the policy and guidelines. Last school year marked our first year that Catasauqua High School moved to what's called a block schedule. With a block schedule, students will take 4 courses the first semester and 4 courses the second semester. This allows students to take 8 courses a year and earn 8 credits a year. In our previous traditional schedule, students can earn anywhere from 6 to 7 Some students were fortunate enough their schedules could work out. They could get 8 courses and 8 credits, but with the block scheduling, students are able to get 8 credits. What is nice about the block scheduling is students only focus on 4 courses at a time and not 6 to 7. So what happens is homework assignments, time in which is committed to that tends to go down, which does allow students more opportunity for after school activities to participate in sports and things like that. If you take a look at the schedules here, these are also located in the student handbook. These schedules show what's going to be like on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. As you can see with the Wednesday schedule, the Rough Rider is built in there, and the Rough Rider period is about a 30-minute period in which students work on their career portfolios 1 week, and then in following weeks they have the opportunity to visit some of their student organizations and get involved in school. The Rough Rider period will not begin until September 23rd, so we'll be doing the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday schedule until then. There's also an early release schedule and a 2-hour delay schedule. The lunch times are located on the far right. Students will be eating during third block. There are 4 lunch periods. The reason there's 4 lunch periods this year is because of COVID-19 guidelines, and we could fit a safer number of students in the cafeteria using 4 lunches instead of just doing 3. The next schedule that we have up here is our virtual schedule, and this is not for the virtual students. The virtual students will be following the same schedule as regular students, but this is for should emergencies happen and we do need to shut the school down, whether it's for a deep cleaning of COVID or if for some unfortunate reason we end up having to do a long-term virtual schedule for whatever reasons are out there. This is what the schedule will look like on those days. There's basically a morning session of blocks 1 and 2, and then an afternoon session of blocks 3 and 4. In the middle of the day, we'll be offering office hours for staff members. So if you need to meet with a staff member, let's say you have Mr. Foley, it goes by last name. His last name begins with the letter F. So he'll have office hours during 11 to 11:30. They're optional. They're not mandatory, but sometimes students want to get some extra help or ask a clarifying question, and those teachers will be available during those times virtually for you to be able to ask some questions. And as you can see, we also have one in which we can run the Rough Rider period as well. With regards to entrance and exit procedures, we have a lot of students that are using the car riders this year, and students who are still using the buses. As you could see, there's 2 main parking lots off of the main entrance of the high school. If you're a car rider, you're going to come in to the first parking lot from Bull's Head Road. When you come in, the cars will they'll come down the center area where there's grass and trees, and you drop your student off right near the main entrance. If you're coming from the car rider line, or if you're riding with an upperclassman and they're parking in the parking lot, that's the parking lot they will park in. So if you come from the parking lot on the left-hand side here, you will enter the left-hand doors of the main entrance when going into the building. If you are a bus rider, you'll simply ride the bus. It will drop you off near the main entrance, and you will enter the building through the right doors of the main entrance. During dismissal time, the procedure is similar. The cars will line up in the car rider parking lot. It stays the exact same. The buses will line up in the bus parking lot, which stays the exact same. Students on the first floor classrooms will exit through the main entrance. Students that are located in the upstairs west wing will go down the west wing stairwell and exit that direction. Students in the east wing will do the same thing, but they'll do it on the east side stairwell. So students will be exiting the building through 3 areas and then proceeding to either the car rider lot, the bus lot, or to their parking spot to leave. Just to highlight some more things about academics this year, like we said earlier, everything counts and it begins today with your freshman year. Something very unique for this school year because of the possibility of unpredictability that we cannot guarantee that we'll be in school the entire time because of COVID. So we're still trying to figure out how we're going to get through this entire school year. And though we have a good plan in place, there are many things that can change that. And because of that, there's not going to be final exams for this school year. So therefore, a final course grade is going to be determined by the 2 quarters in which the student has the course. 50% of the first quarter and 50% of the second quarter grades will go together to determine the final grade. Also, something new this year is our honors courses have higher weights to them than in previous years. So what that means is if you take an honors course and you receive an A in it, you actually get more than an A when figuring out your GPA and your transcript. It gives your grades a boost, reward for taking a rigorous course offering. That concludes the video for the orientation. You definitely have a little bit of homework to do, and I hate to do that to you before school starts, but there is just so much to cover. We just simply couldn't put it all in a video. When you have a chance, please read through the CHS Return to Learn website. Make sure you watch the videos on the orientation page on Canvas and Google Meet. Virtual students, classroom invites from your teachers will be coming out hopefully tomorrow, possibly Thursday. When you get these, make sure you accept these invitations from your teacher. You should be checking your email 2 times a day from now and through the school year. And make sure you have time to read the student handbook. Thank you for joining us this evening or this morning, whatever time you guys are watching this. I'm looking forward to meeting all the freshmen and joining you guys over the next 4 years of what promises to be an exciting time. Remember, the opportunities are there ahead of you. It's up to you to take advantage of it. Thank you so much.